name of appellant?
Appellant is reliable credit.
Reliable.
Yes. Sir, request to which you both want to argue. Request to want. We both want to argue the case.
Yeah, that's permitted, no issue. But do have written synopsis.
Yes,
Have you prepared any synopsis, DSL? Please go ahead.
Honorable Lordship, today we are before your Lordship to get our appeal regularized, which is rejected merely on the procedural ground of impugned delay in filing of appeal under section 1071 and 1074 within 3 months of the communication of the order. Brief facts of the case are as follows. Our appellant name is Mr. Reliable Fabrics. It is engaged in the manufacturing of a textile. It filed its regular returns for the period of 17-18 in 1, 3D and 9. The case was flagged by the EIU suspicious ITC for claim of non-adjacent suppliers. Notices were issued to the Reliable Fabrics on the ground that ITC claimed from non-verified suppliers amounting to Rs 24,15,000. To which the assessee responded that the claim was genuine based on the genuine purchases and relied upon section 16 for the claim of the input tax credit. Upon review, the case was decided and a demand was raised for tax liability of 12,50,000 with interest and penalty. Against the which, this entire proceeding was conducted in the physical mode. After that, only an impugned order was issued on the common portal directly on 22nd June. After effectively 2 months of the uploading on portal, the department sent the order via speed post, that is on 25th August 2024, wherein the appellant came to know that such order has been passed within 3 months of the permitted timeline from the communication date of speed post. The appellant has filed the appeal with the pre-deposit. The Commissioner appeal has, without going into the case of the merit, considered the original date of uploading on the common portal as the date and rejected the case on the basis of the limitation. Now, my humble submission is, sir, I am arguing today before your Lordship. What would be the effective way of communication? It is always two ways. If I am saying to you and you are listening, that shows that you are understanding. That is the effective mode of communication. Just entire proceeding was conducted offline. Only the order was uploaded online, which the appellant was not aware of. Hence, only after the receipt of speed post, that was effectively communication of the order that has happened. We would like to rely upon the judgment of PP Enterprise, wherein it is held that once effectiveness of the communication versus served, that in the section 169, I am referring to page number 5, BP Enterprises. There is difference between there two sections of GST, 107 for the appeal and 169 for the service of the order. 169 presume that in case it is tendered to the respective authority, or it is communicated via email, or it is published in the newspaper, it is communicated that it is deemed served. But there is no deemed service for the uploading of the common portal for the 169.2 with 169.1 and 169.2. For 107 and in 169, the word uses these are the prescribed method for the service of notice or order. And 107 is 3 months from the date of communication. So there is difference. Service and notice. Service can happen. But if it is not communicated, then we have the 3 months timeline has not started. Going on to the next case on page number 16, Bagel trading, wherein it was clearly held that amount of communication as stipulated in 107 can be communicated only when the concerned person comes to know about the same. Further, since in Pushpam reality, Next case, on page number 7, it was held that if the entire proceedings are happening offline, it is compulsory that offline order should be given and the appellant should be in the knowledge of the same.
So, my lords, in the brief case, what we are contending is the service of notice versus the communication date from which the appeal proceeding starts. Without prejudice to that impact, presuming that the date of notice, date of order was the date when it was served on portal. Now, going on to the facts of the case, there is a point of limitation under the GST Act if we refer to 107 subsection 4, which gives a maximum time limit for which an appeal can be filed. Now, yes.
Please go.
So, in terms of GST Act, the limitation ends within the maximum limit of 4 months. So, 3 months is the normal period under 1071. Under 107 subsection 4, it gives an extension of 1 more month which is available. Now, even after the period of 4 months, there is no period within which an appeal can be filed as per the GST law. Now, I want to rely in this regard in the Limitation Act, which I am submitting the Limitation Act copies for your reference. So, if we
Mr.
refer
Counsel, before we go through the limitation act, can you let us know whether limitation act at all applies here?
yes, for the same thing only, sir, we are referring to Limitation Act, where there is a specific provision under the Limitation Act where whether the Limitation Act should apply or the GST law should apply. In terms of section 5 of the Limitation Act, which discusses the provisions under which an appeal can be filed, what is the time limit for which the appeal can be filed in the Limitation Act. Now, it refers to the words under section 5, which is a sufficient cause being pronounced. The period can be extended by the appellate authorities.
Read again. Read the section.
Yes, sir. Section 5 of the Limitation Act, sir, subclause 6. Sorry, 4. Subclause 4.
Only section 5 is, you're on page 4?
Yes, sir.
Section 5, there is no subsections. Section 6 has subsections.
Yes, sir. I am referring to section 5 only in reference to specific words being used in terms of the limitation period would start till end till the period of sufficient cause being shown.
That is explanation.
Explanation.
Please say that. Say
Yes.
that you are reading, you are relying upon explanation under section 5 of Limitation Act.
Make
Please
sense.
read now. Please read verbatim.
Yes.
Read only the specific words.
Yes.
If you read a law before the tribunal, you have to read the entire text. Especially if you are reading an explanation, start reading from then only the meaning will be understood.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Think that audience. Sir, I don't have the copy of Limitation Act. Yes, sir. Apologies, sir. Sir, in terms of explanation to section 5 of the Limitation Act, where the fact that the appellant or the applicant was misled by any order, practice or judgment of the High Court in under ascertaining or computing the prescribed limit may be sufficient cause within the meaning of this section. So if the sufficient cause is being pronounced, then I may be allowed for an extended period in terms of...
Please read again. We are reading. the fact of the appellant was misled by any order, practice or judgment of High Court in ascertaining. So, how is that case applicable to you? There is no order that has misled you.
Sir, I would like to add one more thing. That regarding the applicability of the Limitation Act, 107 does not contain a non-obstant clause which overrides the applicability of the Limitation Act. Limitation Act is in general applicable to the entire proceedings that are being conducted under the Civil Procedure Code. Hence, we are taking the benefit of the same. And on page 10 of our submission, we have relied upon the S.K. Chakraborty versus Union of India.
Where you are coming back to,
Yes.
I mean, that
Yes,
we
where
presume
it
that
is
you are not pressing Limitation Act, you are shifting to your case law.
And in case law also it is mentioned that in absence of specific exclusion of the section 5 of the Limitation Act, it would be improper to read an implied exclusion thereof. Hence, we are including the Limitation Act. Sir. Page number 10.
Okay.
Okay.
In the absence of specific exclusion.
Yes, that's why we are including.
Go ahead.
In terms of referencing to the principles where there is an exclusion under the provisions of the Act, sir, the references has been also taken in reference of section 5 of the Limitation Act, where we are referring the sufficient cause being shown, the appeal should be active. That is all we are thinking. My appeal.
Okay. Respond.
On behalf of the respondent side, we would like to proceed with our facts and arguments. Do we have the permission?
Yeah, we have, but you don't have to repeat the facts. You directly come to the revenue submissions, how you are countering their grounds of appeal.
Sure, sir. But before proceeding with our arguments, I would like to point out certain things that has been missed out by my
Sure.
learned
Go ahead.
advocate friend. First point they have pointed out is their compliance history. They have stated that they have filed on due time. But there is a point that GST return, GSTR 1 and 3 for the period 1st July 2017 to 31st March 2008 were filed delayed on their part, which was filed on, to be precise, 15th Feb 2020, just before the filing, their GSTR 9, which was filed on 16th of Feb 2020. That was the point. Another thing is, EIU, that is Economic Intelligence Unit, flagged certain amount of suspicious on their transaction based on that ITC claim from non-existent supplier. That means they had to counter certain things. Page number 5, statement of facts, point number 2.
Also, I'll just. Page number 5. Go ahead. Point number?
Point number 2 of statement of facts.
Okay.
For seeking certain amount of clarifications in this regard, certain notices were sent to them which were remained unanswered till the date. Afterwards, department had sent them notices, but they were also answered delayed. And for that delay, they have raised only one query that there were certain amount of administrative issues which is not considered to be a valid ground in our recent precedents as well. I would like you to go towards the page number 3. Page number 3, page number 11. The point is, administrative difficulties not amount to a valid reason for delay. I would like to read out the judgment's lines. In the case of Measures Simplex Infrastructure Limited versus Union of India, the Supreme Court has well written that administrative difficulties would not be a valid reason to condone a delay above and beyond a statutory prescribed limit. One more thing, my dear friend was pointing out that they should be granted the remedy under Section 5 of Limitation Act. Here we would like to point out that even if the GST Act, first of all, Limitation Act would be applicable only and only in those cases where you don't have specific law or provision in this regard. Our GST Act specifically mentions that there should be filed an appeal within 3 months of the communication of order plus 30 days delay can be permitted. That to be also permitted only and only in cases where sufficient cause or valid reason has been propounded to the bench. Here in this particular case, no sufficient reason or any application for condonation of delay has been filed by the respective member till date. I would also like to point out that there is also another section, Section 3 of Limitation Act, which satisfies the claim that sir, page number 10. As per Section 2H of the Limitation Act, they have stated that they have acted in good faith. So, definition of good faith clearly states that nothing shall be deemed to be done in good faith which is not done with due care and attention. Here I would like to point out that they have neither acted in due care nor acted with proper attention. How we are stating that? They have continuously delayed filing their compliances. They have not answered their show cause notices and replies. Even when they have answered, they have only answered that we have produced certain amount of invoices to you. Based on this invoice, you may have to assume that we have done proper transaction. Whereas GST Act requires that it is not your fundamental right nor your constitutional right. If you want to claim the ITC, you will have to fulfill certain amount of conditions which are laid down in Section 16 itself, which has not been fulfilled by the learned advocates or their appellant.
We will ask you fundamental thing. This is an appellate tribunal. What is the impugned order? Impugned order is the appellate authority's order.
Yes.
What does the appellate authority order say? That according to the appellate authority, the appeal has been filed after 5 months. According to him, date of receipt of order is the date of publication on the website. So question is, does he have power to go beyond 3 plus 1 month? Only please stick to that point.
Sure.
Say that does he have power? Because if you looking into reasons, it appears as if the appellate authority has power to look into reasons and he can go beyond 1 month. So question is, according to you, if you feel that they are filed after 5 months and according to you, law says 3 plus 1, whether they have filed within 1 month or not, whether does he have power, can you stick to that?
Your Honor, I would like to point out towards Section 169 of the GST Act. Section 169
Go ahead.
So page number 9. Service of notice in certain circumstances. I would like to read Section 169 subsection 1 clause D, which specifies that by making it available on the common portal, and everywhere in this section it has been written or, never it is stated and. That means any of this ground can be considered a valid ground.
Why you are saying means, can you read the first subsection?
Sure.
Read fully. What does the first section say?
Any decision, order, summons, notice or other communication under this Act or the rules made thereunder shall be served by any one of the following methods.
So if anyone is here, why are you again implying that? It is there in the statute.
Because my learned friend had pointed out that it should be made or called or informed physically.
Please go ahead.
I would also like to point out subsection 2 of the same section. Every decision, order, summons, notice or any communication shall be deemed to have been served on the date on which it is tendered or published, or a copy thereof is affixed in the manner provided in subsection 1. That means it was validly served by the department, GST department, to the appellant. That means physical copy given towards them was only a sufficient benefit given towards them that cannot be concluded like notice was not served.
Somebody keep time track. keep the
Yes, yes, I am keeping track of time and I request the respondent to please sum up, your time is over.
Okay. I would like to go towards page number 10. In the judgment of Popat Bahinu versus Land Acquisition Officer, it was validly said by quoting a legal maxim that dura lex sed lex, which means the law is hard but it is the law. When we are talking about GST law,
Which page?
page number 10 for para.
Which page?
The Supreme Court of India, Popat Bahinu versus Land Acquisition Officer. It is a second legal position under the law of limitation. May harshly affect a particular party, but it has to be applied with all its rigor when the statute.
Good.
Okay. Before finalizing or concluding my response, we urge this honorable tribunal to dismiss the appeal and uphold the respondent's decision. The appellant's actions are a clear case of non-compliance and their attempts to justify their actions are completely unconvincing. At the same time, we submit that the penalty imposed in this regard is also proportionate to the offence committed by them only, and also allowing them to appeal further and to condemn them will encourage the non-compliance and undermining the integrity of the tax system as well. It will also affect the rule of law in harsh manner. We urge this honorable tribunal to dismiss the appeal and uphold the respondent's original order and in interest of justice, fairness and also in public interest.
We give opportunity to the appellant again to repeat if you want, but in a very short manner. Do not repeat again what you have said. You have to only rebuttal of the points that she has mentioned.
Less than 30 seconds.
Less than. Oh, go ahead.
Sir, many objections were made. Firstly, that why entire manual proceeding was done and only common portal, only the order was served. And why after 2 months they have done the speed post. They were aware that we have not properly communicated the order. Secondly, this matter is not about this is matter of only procedural lapse and GSTR 133 late filing does not affect the merits of this case. And as the bench rightly pointed out, that this case is for the delay condonation and not the merits of the case. Hence, we are not going into the merits of the case. We are just before your bench for the condonation of delay. I would like to at last place my reliance on page 9 of my submission. It is the Honorable Supreme Court judgment where substantial justice and technical considerations are pitted against each other. Cause of substantial justice deserves to be preserved. Our substantial justice of allowance of appeal needs to be reserved rather than a procedural delay in filing of appeal. That's all.
Mr. Counsel, you referred S.K. Chakraborty's judgment of Calcutta High Court 2023.
Yes, sir.
What's the status of this? Whether government wanted to appeal before the Supreme Court?
No, this is no SNC not filed. It is being
You are
filed
confirming the
in,
same?
it is cited in more 16 judgments, sir. This case has been.
No, that's fine. But whether it has been reached to Supreme Court or not?
No.
It has not been reached.
Yes.
Okay, no, fine.
Thank you.
Madam Counsel, see, your point was well taken that condonation beyond time is not allowed. Fine. So, but please refer to one of the arguments which you have not related. 169, probably there is no argument about it, that portal, service on a portal is a valid methodology. Fine. So, method is fine, there is no dispute about it. But can you address us on the point which you raised that 169.2 talks about the date on which the order is received? These are two separate aspects.
162 says every decision shall deemed to have been served.
So precisely 161 talks about method of service. There are 6 methods of services, right? Out of which about some 162 is talking about that on which date service is there. And please, in your future cases also, whenever you quote, please quote whole of the section. You have skipped 163 in this your submissions. That is also relevant. Because again 163 talks about one of the modes, that is what will be the date of service. So precisely if we go through with the statutory mechanism, 169(1) is providing 6 methodologies about service. 2 and 3 is providing out for 4 methods what is date of service. It is silent about GSTN portal and email services, electronic services, about what will be the date of service. What is your take? This is what has been highlighted by me. You have not responded to it. Date of service.
Sir, with all due respect, I would like to point out again towards section 169, subsection 2. It clearly states that every decision, order, summons, notice, or any communication shall be deemed to have been served on the date on which it is tendered or published, or a copy thereof is affixed in the manner provided in subsection 1.
No starter. We have heard enough. We don't know because other 3-4 things are also
Just
there.
one more thing.
No, not record, not record. Because other things are also there. In fact, I discussed with my brother's member also. There seems to be slightly difference of opinion between us. So first I will pronounce mine, let him pronounce his, and later I will my view is that there is we are appellate tribunal. Same is the question with Commissioner Appeal also. Commissioner Appeal, there is no provision for him whatsoever to go beyond 3 months plus 30 days. In this regard, in fact, I would like to in my order, I would like to report on 2 case laws. One is Kerala judgment, Kerala High Court judgment. It's called ASHVA Holidays Private Limited versus CGST. I will quote the relevant para. Kerala High Court said, there was no provision granting appellate authority power to condone delays in excess of 1 month after initial 3 months period. Since appeal was filed after 4 months, there were no grounds to entertain instant repetition and subsequently same was dismissed. I also would like to quote Bombay High Court case law. This is Meritas Hotels versus State of Maharashtra 2022. Similar was the situation. Petitioner there received the order by email, same as the instant case where you have uploaded the website. I will quote the relevant para. Petitioner received the order by email on 20th April 2019. That is date statutory limit starts as per section 171. Read with 4. Communication. 171 is 1071 is saying that from the communication. So whereas the email was sent to the party, whether the party has seen the email or not doesn't matter. The day the email has been sent successfully, unless it is revert back or something like that, then that date will count. The Bombay High Court is very clear in this side. They said petitioner received the order by email on 20th April 2019. That is the date statutory limit starts as per 171 for communication. This is the one. What you are trying to rely upon is communication mode of 107 is different from the date of serving the order in 169. Please, this aspect has been decided and we are tribunal. We are bound by the High Court order. I mean, one is jurisdiction High Court. If I am in Surat, Gujarat High Court. If I am not in Surat, if it is Bombay High Court, any other High Court order, I am bound by that. I personally feel that the tribunal has no liberty whatsoever. Similar is the case if you are filing appeal with me. You have to file appeal within 3 months. If beyond 3 months you file, I have no power whatsoever to conduct. So, tribunal being a statutory authority, we would like to go by the tribunal. That is my opinion. My brother would like to pronounce.
I have gone through with the order, written order by my learned brother. To a large extent, I agree with that. But there are some points with which I am not agreeing with it, which is is forcing me to give a different view because the result is also different because of that. First, I totally agree with that first subject authority and tribunal both are bound by the statutory provisions. Once the time limit is over, for example, 3 plus 1 months are there, 4 months are gone, then there is no power with them to even condone them. This is a constitutional bench of the Honorable Supreme Court. In fact, 2022 United India case has already been decided and final. There is no comment. But the different aspect is from which date this 3 months or 4 months time period will start. That is called as a date of service. So, referring to the specific provisions, 169 subsection 1, in my humble view, is referring to the methods, not date of service. So 169 subsection 2, as has been raised by appellant's counsel, that provides a date of service in certain scenarios. And GST law is silent about the date of service in electronic modes. On the contrary, I have to mention here, though it has not been reviewed, you can further research. Information Technology Act is there, which section 81 gives the overriding impact on all other laws. First of all, that's important aspect. Though it is not provided in the GST law, then also that is having a overriding effect on all other acts, number 1. Number 2, section 13 is there in the Information Technology Act, which specifically provides what is date of dispatch or what is date of receipt in case of electronic communication. It can very well be different. It need not be that the date when the email is sent or it is uploaded, it is being received by the same. So the precisely, if I say so, in these kind of scenarios, date of receipt is the date of receipt when it has been accessed by the petitioner. So since in the case the data is fax is absent on that which date the petitioner has accessed that online data, in that light, I am of the view that date of service has to be recovered from the date when either the portal has been accessed first time that order has been downloaded or the physical copy has been received by the petitioner. So, in my order, I allow the appeal of the petitioner, though we are having a split view, so then we go to the third one. Separate orders are passed.
We are running short of time. We quickly invite the second team of appellants and respondents, and I request the honorable bench to reserve their orders.
I request that time will be kept very strictly. When you give time to the
Appellant want to argue in this matter.
yeah, please go ahead.
Your Lordship, where Messrs. ASHVA Private Limited, situated in state of Kerala, we are doing the business of tolling operation maintenance services of road. Your Lordship, we are in receipt of ASHVA 10 notice as per section 61 for the financial year 17-18, wherein it was alleged that the verification of ITC availed in return was filed by the notice informed GSTR 3B and the ITC was available in GSTR 2A. Based on that, we have been alleged that we are liable to reverse the ITC for taxes claim which is reflecting GSTR 2, that is amounting to rupees 1,62,790.84. Another allegation was raised in comparison for annual returns that was based on table A and table B of GSTR 9, that was irregular ITC. Further, Your Lordship, they have been raised so-called notice under section 73 where it was alleged that we have controlled under section 16(2) and we have availed the access and input ITC GSTR period as per GSTR 2 for the period of 70 days. The same observation was made as per the GSTR, Your Lordship, pardon. The same observation made that was made during for the ST 10 and the tax liability interest penalty was upheld. Your Lordship, further in reference to the so-called notice, we have submitted our reply, we have submitted our reconciliation, we have submitted that we have complied with section 16(2). Your Lordship, after that demand order was passed that without consideration our reply, the demand order was upheld as per the so-called notice. Agree with the so-called notice, pardon Your Lordship, agree with the demand order we have appealed before the appellate authority. Your Lordship, we have made the appeal basically on 3 grounds. There was violation of section 169. We have not been served the proper service of notice. We have only submitted it uploaded on portal, but we are not received with via email or either or registered address. Second, Your Lordship, there was demand order raised in a demand order raised which does not provide sufficient reasoning for the tax demand, which lacks clarity explaining why certain amount were demanded and how the figures were calculated. Third ground was that, Your Lordship, the department claimed that we have availed the access ITC for the financial 17-18, but we have availed the ITC based on 16-2. There was no compliance of, there was no operational of GSTR 2A in March 2018. Further, Your Lordship, Appellate Authority came with their decision. They have agreed our submission entire to that extent and deleted the entire tax amount for that period. Further, Your Lordship, they have asked for a supplier certificate, which was specifically asked in the appeal order itself only. Thirdly, again, Your Lordship, there was excess ITC claim for 18-19 for the month of April, but in 18-19, further it was found that already available ITC for the invoice year until 18-19, therefore ITC could not be claimed for the period year 17-18, as the credit was already claimed the following year and our claim was rejected. And further, Your Lordship, agree with that order, we are before this bench. Your Lordship, we want to make following submission that there was violation of section 169. First of all, they have not been served the proper service notice. From the ASMT 1073 and demand order, everything was uploaded on the portal. We were not aware with that. Second,
Have you raised this ground before appellate authority?
yes,
Or are you raising for the first time? Do you have written reply before appellate authority? Because the extract of the appellate authority order we are having, nowhere this point is mentioned
No.
about service.
Your Lordship, we have submitted in our appeal, but appellate authority has not considered this as submission.
But you have written reply before appellate authority which raised this ground.
Yes,
You
Lordship.
also say that he has ignored this.
He did not consider that point, Your Lordship. That.
We did not discuss that order.
Yes,
That-
Lordship. Further, Lordship, the whole assessment proceeding was preconceived with a preconceived mind from the stage of investigation till the passing of order. The only officer was acting because we have submitted our reply with proper reconciliation, but the proper officer has not conducted, and in the demand order he has clearly stated that the reply has been submitted, but it was submitted. Further, Your Lordship, there was another claim that in April month 2008, for 18-19, respondent had claimed that we have availed excess IPC, but there was short claim. We have already availed 17-18, and there was only one IPC which we have availed. GSTR 2 was not availed. We have compared with 16-2 only that.
Appellants may please wind up their submissions.
You come to the core issue. You come to the order in appeal. On what grounds he has not agreed with your submission? Focus upon that because of limitation of time.
In less than 1 minute.
Your Lordship, in March 18, the access ITC was claimed based on 16-2. There was GSTR 2A was not operational at that time, and that was not considered. And the respondent has raised the demand based on GSTR 2A and 3B. That is only my humble submission, Your Lordship. Kindly.
Thank you. Thank you. Respondent.
My learned friend said he has grievance on notice, like it was not served on the party, whereas section 169, which is mentioned on page number 3, I'd like to mention here, and it was also discussed in the prior case, that any decision order, someone's notice or other communication under this act or the rules made thereunder shall be served by any one of the following methods. And subsection D says by making it available on the common portal, which was done in this case. So we certainly object that it was not properly served, it was duly served, and also a personal hearing was granted, summons was issued, yet they did not provide any submissions or no fact that why it should not be allowed. And if you go to the second argument, wherein on the ITC disallowed due to sufficient documents not served. So there was a circular issued by CBIBT, circular number 183 of 2022, which says that for the period before the mandatory matching of GSTR 2A and 3B, which was effective October 2019, taxpayers must have substantial ITC claim with the valid invoices or supplier certificate. And the supplier certificate has not been submitted, despite giving them opportunity of personal hearing through summons. And also in this regard, we have also put in few case laws where claiming of ITC and substantiating them is, responsibility of the taxpayer and providing sufficient documents. And one of the certificate is one of the very important documents that they should have provided and which they have not provided. In this case, we have also sought Supreme Court judgment in earlier VAT regime, which is L Automotive Private Limited versus Commercial Tax Officers, which again says ITC is a statutory concession subject to conditions specified in the strict adherence to the same is necessary, and hence the same thing is here. There are other judgments in GST regime also, like Meena Bajar Railway Station Road versus State of Tax Officer. Kerala High Court emphasized that taxpayers' obligations to provide supporting documents for ITC claims, even where GSTR 2A discrepancy exists, is on the taxpayer. Same way in Suncraft Energy Private Limited, Calcutta High Court reaffirmed that ITC cannot be availed without proper documentation. In Union of India versus Bharti Airtel, which they also sought, the Supreme Court held that procedural lapses do not exempt taxpayers from adhering to the substantive legal requirement under the GST. So we certainly object all the submissions made by the learned counsel, and we certainly ask the Honorable Tribunal that we pray for dismissal of the appeal and claim that the Tribunal affirms the modified order passed by the Commissioner of Appeals and requests to uphold the disallowance of ITC along with the interest of penalties.
Bhawan, do you want to say anything? Stick to that point. One point they said is supplier's certificate, and stick to the point about compliance with respect to 16(2)(c), which is mentioned.
इस बारे में मैं कहना चाहूँगी कि जो मेन रीज़न है ये ऑर्डर करने का वो 3B और 2A का डिफरेंस है जो कि हमने किया था। इसमें डुप्लीकेसी थी, जो ऑर्डर प्रेसिडेंट का ऑर्डर था उसमें डुप्लीकेसी थी कि 3B वर्सेस 2A प्लस AK वर्सेस AK। तो उन्होंने क्या किया, हमने जब ये पॉइंट नोट आउट करवाया तो उन्होंने 3B वर्सेस 2A डिलीट कर दिया और AK वर्सेस AK को ऑर्डर कर दिया कि ये आप जमा करवाओ, ठीक है। लेकिन 18-19 के केस में वो टैक्स कंपैरिजन सीट को बेस मान रहे हैं और GSTR 9 को इग्नोर कर रहे हैं। GSTR 9 AK वर्सेस AK हमारा एक्सेस सॉल्व ITC है जो वहाँ पे अवेलेबल है।
Madam Counsel, a very specific question. They have said that you have not complied with circular number 183, that means you have not provided the certificate desired. Is it correct?
Sir,
Is it correct or not?
sir, that time we have not submitted the.
Fine. Mr. DR, they have said, they have referred one aspect, that this is with respect to 17-18, and at that time, even 2A was not able. They have raised this point. You have, you want to address something on that because you have not addressed on this.
Comes in where the 2A,
Sorry?
that's where the circular talks about if the 2A was not there, they have to provide the circular.
Both the sides, and we are reserving the judgment. The detailed judgment will follow.
Postmaster for the third team. Player number 3, appellant side, Vivek Bhai and Mayur Bhai. Respondent side, Viral Bhai and Keval.
Your Lordship, I am representing the case of Messrs. Galaxy Fireworks. It is a partnership firm and it has been regularly filing GST returns. The period under consideration is financial year 2017-18. The firm is in the business of supplying fireworks and related goods. On 31st March 2022, Your Honor, the Directorate General of Analytics and Risk Management identified two issues in their GST filings for the financial year 17-18. Issue number 1, Your Honor, that there was a mismatch between GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B filed for the month of September 2017. Page number 2, Your Honor, of my written submissions. Issue number 2, which was pointed out, Your Honor, was that liability was paid in GSTR 3B for the month of May 2018, and for this interim period, interest was levied. Appellant was having sufficient electronic trade ledger balance for the period from September 2017 to May 2018, Your Honor. Now, in consequence to this report, show cause notice was issued by honorable tax authorities alleging 3 issues as mentioned earlier, and they have levied interest of rupees 8 lakhs. In response to the show cause notice, we have replied to the show cause notice stating that the total liability was paid in May 2018, and the main contention that we have here is that there was sufficient balance in the electronic trade ledger since September 2017 up to May 2018 when the final liability was discharged. It was even requested to the Honorable Adjudicating Officer that interest should apply only on the cash component because the trade is already, the tax which is already paid to the government. And the reason for mismatch in filing GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B for the month of September 2017 was because it was the initial years of implementation of GST. The accountants were not well equipped to understand the system and the GST portal, and due to that they have made this mistake. Thus, it is an inadvertent error. If it was intentional, we would not have rectified in May 2018 again. Then we had, but even after the submissions, we had received an order against us and 8 lakhs demand was raised, Your Honor. Then we had tried to file an appeal to the First Appellate Authority, but Honorable First Appellate Authority also dismissed the case. Now we stand before Your Honors to kindly allow the appeal, and the main issue in this case is that, Your Honor, that interest is levied for the interim period of September 2017 to May 2018 on the gross tax liability, Your Honor. But our request is that this is the situation, but there was sufficient balance of input tax credit available in our electronic trade ledger during the interim period of September 2017 to May 2018. For this, I would like to highlight 3 to 4 grounds, Your Honor. For this, I would like to take to page 6 of my written submissions, Your Honor. Page number 6 of my written submissions, Your Honor.
It's a very simple case. Just focus upon that point. Why are you going here and there? If it's interest on 51, whether it has been amended, if so, what the provision you can make and make it to the point. So there are various methods you can. We don't mind, but
okay, sorry. I'll come back to page number 5 of
the main point that you are pressing.
Sure,
you would like to.
Sure, sir. I would like to. I request Your Honor to come to page number 5 of my written submissions, where Section 50, subsection 1 was retrospectively amended through the GST Council meetings held between 2018 to 2020, where the interest was levied only on the cash component which is paid, and not on the balance available in the electronic rate ledger which is utilized for payment of tax. And this was amended retrospectively.
Good enough, good enough. That's good enough. You come to the point. So we want your opposite respondents.
Sir, actually, as per learned counsel, what he has said, we are not in the case, in the subject matter that the interest should be levied on cash or carry forward. In the first part, you can see that twice the so-called notice or in the appellate, they were given chances to appear and specify the discrepancy between GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. Now, if you will see the reply to the so-called notice, in the first point what we have told, the total liability was paid in May 2018 with sufficient credit available in their electronic ledger. And in the same second point, what they are telling, interest should be applied to net liability in cash, not an amount settled in credit ledger. After then,
which page are you talking? The page number good.
yeah, both the points are contrary to each other. After then, they were given chance to get the mismatch between GSTR 1 versus GSTR 3B.
Mr. Can you please elaborate how they are contradicting? Can you elaborate how they are contradicting?
In the first point, what we have told, liability was paid in May 2018 with sufficient credit balance available. So liability was paid. In the second point, what they are telling the interest should be charged only the cash portion. If the liability is already paid, where there is a part of the payment of cash, what I am asking. And after that, they are given 2 time chances to specify the difference between GSTR 1 versus 3B. Even if you find the order of appeal, they have specified that the taxpayer failed to provide adequate justification for the delay. So in the appellate order also, they are not able to justify their stance, the difference between GSTR 3B versus GSTR 1. Even the amendment section 50 what tells? The petitioner gives relates to interest on the gross return income and not on the cash amount. Okay, the court observed that the provision to section 50 was substituted by the Finance Act 2021 with the retrospective 17/2000, which states that the interest on tax payable in respect of supply made during the tax period and declared in the return for the same period, not in the further means the yeah.
Provision or amendment?
Section 50 CGST amendment.
Read it.
Section 50 of the CGST 2017 interest, the petitioner previous relates to levy of interest on the gross return income and not on the cash amount. The court observed that the proviso to section 50 was substituted by the Finance Act 2021 with retrospective effect from 1/7/2000, which state that the interest on tax payable in respect of supplies made during the tax period and declared in the return for the same period, furnished after the due date, shall be payable on the portion. So the return for July-September period, they have paid tax in the month of May 2018. Even if you will find the discrepancy, they have even not specified in GSTR 9. The Galaxy 5 later amendment GS but failed to address the timing of payment basis. That's what I want to tell.
You have anything to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Less than 30 seconds.
Your Honor, my learned friend has mentioned that they are giving sufficient chance for me to rectify. I would like to mention that before I received the chance itself, I have rectified in my May 2018 return by myself, because I understood that there was difference in my GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B, and once I have identified the issue, I have immediately rectified it. And I have even mentioned there is no contradictory point which I have to mention here, Your Honor. I am very clear, I have made a mistake and it was inadvertent error that I have made. I have immediately identified and rectified in my May 2018 return. That's all, Your Honor.
We feel that appeal is to be allowed and detailed order will follow. I will just say one sentence that the retrospective amendment that has been done is done with the spirit that if you are having sufficient balance as on the date of tax liability in terms of credit ledger also, that should be also considered, shall not be charged if you are having a sufficient balance. We have case laws also, we will quote it in our order and say it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Serial number 4.
Nevertheless, when we are not doing this. And also appreciate respondent also, department also, no less. They have also prepared very well. Please go ahead, apply.
Your Lordship, I am Advocate Bhawan along with my brother co-counsel CAG member. We are representing Dental Council of India. With your permission, we would like to proceed with the fact of the present case. Major Dental Council of India was established under Dentist Act 1948 as a statutory body to regulate dental education and profession across India. It operates under the purview of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, receiving funding from grants in hand by the central government, fixed annual fees from colleges, application and inspection fees, and the sale of revenue from the state dental council as mandated by Dentist Act. I would like to focus on nature and services provided by the applicant. Applicant conducts inspection of dental colleges, grants approval and extension for colleges opening, regulates seating capacities and oversees adherence to the education regulations prescribed under the Dentist Act. I would like to highlight the point that we are providing affiliation to the private colleges as well as to the government colleges. Further, DGGI has initiated an investigation in the year of 2021 and summons were issued and appellant duly appeared before the respondent and submitted the all required documents which they have asked. Based on the data submitted, the proper officer has issued SOCOS notice dated 7th September 2023 and raised a demanding GST liability of rupees 40 crores 15,84,786 rupees under section 74 for the period of July 17 to March 2023. They have raised the allegation that we are not governmental authorities first, and secondly they have said we are not allowed to get the exemption under entry 4 and entry 66 of the notification 12/27/2017. We have duly replied to the SCM by letter dated 10th October 23, wherein we have justified that how we are in the ancillary services to the education, and we are governmental authority as we are established under the Parliament of Act, and we are not engaged in the commercial or business activities. They have issued SOCOS notice by extending the period of limitation. Further, we have justified that how we are covered under entry 4 of the notification. They have provided us personal hearing as well, and we have appeared and we have pointed out our submission and contended the same. However, the learned respondent has failed to appreciate the fact that we have duly provided all the documents and they have upheld the SCA. Being accused by the order, we approached to the first appellate authority wherein we have reiterated the submission along with the supporting case laws which were in our favor. However, even appellate authority has not considered our submission and upheld the order. Hereby we are here before your honor. Further, I would like to state that my learned co-counsel will argue on the matter.
Please.
Your Honor, the main issue in the case is whether Dental Council of India is qualified for exemption under entry number 4 of the notification number 12/2017.
Can you close the notification? Have you enclosed in the appeal memorandum, page number?
So it's on page number 14 in the case laws compilation. Respondent's copy it is attached.
So you are replying upon the respondent's basis.
So we have also attached on page number 173 of our case law compilation.
So you are a place for.
Okay. So entry number 4 states that services provided by governmental authorities in relation to functions mentioned under Article 243W and 243G are exempt. Entry number 4 and 5 simultaneously. To qualify as a governmental authority, there are basically 3 conditions prescribed. First, it should be established under an Act of Parliament. Second, it should substantially be controlled by the government. And third, it shall carry out the functions related to public health and education as entrusted to municipalities and panchayats under Article 243W and 243G as well as 11th and 12th schedule. In the present case, so we are a statutory body organized under Dental Act. We operate under the purview of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, receiving funding from grants in aid by the central government. We also receive a share of revenue from state dental councils as mandated by the Dentist Act. So we also carry out the functions as prescribed in Article 243W and 243G of the Constitution. So sir, we fulfill all the three conditions to qualify as a governmental authority. And that's why we are eligible to claim exemption under entry number 4.
Under what act has been formed? Dental Council of India.
So Dentist Act 1940.
Say.
So the first, our contention is that we are eligible for exemption under entry number 4 and 5 of the exemption notification. So second point I would like to state here that there is no quid pro quo relation for collected fees. GST is levied only when there is service provider relationship and quid pro quo, that is consideration in return. Fees such as affiliation and inspection fees are collected under statutory mandate with no specific service rendered in return.
Please sum up in 1 minute.
Yeah, there is a board circular that's given. Come to that point. There is a circular, very clear circular that has been given. We would like to quote that, stick to that, and proceed.
So another point that I would like to raise is that there is erroneous invocation of section 74. The SCN order failed to provide specific instances of fraud, suppression and willful misstatement. Only generalized allegations have been raised without any factual backing, which violate the statutory requirements. Section 74 allows the extended period of limitation only when non-payment of GST involves fraud, suppression of facts and willful misstatement. We have as my co-counsel said, that we have already provided all the data, and on the basis of that, the summon was issued in the investigation was done in the year of 2021. And after prolonged period of 2 years, SCN was issued in the year 2023. On the basis of data that which we provided, like income and expenditure statement and ledgers and all, and on the basis of that, after 2 years, SCN was issued. And during that also, we submitted all our detailed defense submission. So there is erroneous invocation of section 74, and hence we pray to kindly quash the impugned order and provide us a time of exemption.
Respondent.
It's the Constitution of the India. Honorable Lordships, with your promises, we will both argue at different points. Appellant has raised 2 points for the exemptions, and number 4 as being a governmental authority. Appellant team is in a consonance that 3 conditions must be fulfilled, and the third condition is about the functions to be carried out by this authority has to be as per this Article 243W of the Constitution of the India. Your Honor, the dental
Act is saying what is under dispute now. GST is being demanded under what? What is the consideration that is flowing from dental council to the respective college? What is that is flowing? What is it flowing as?
The inspection fees, affiliations fees, and other charges which has been collected from the dental colleges
by the council. By the council, appellant is collecting from the dental colleges the inspection and affiliation charges. The question is, what is in dispute is whether GST is payable on that. Am I correct? Please stick to that.
Your Honor, the exemptions which has been claimed by the appellant is about the governmental authority, and thereby their services are exempt. So I am at the point that the Dentist Act 1948, again under the Dentist Act 1948, Section 3 is prescribing the Constitution of the Dental Council of India. And I would like to refer the Article 53 of the Constitution of India, which I have even put pinned in my books, and also the page number 7 of my submissions for the reproduction purpose. The Article 53 is talking about the executive power of the union. And I am reading the first part. The executive power of the union shall be vested in the president and shall be exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with this constitution. So that's the 53 one. The parliament has been given a power to execute the functions. Now I am reading the relevant point is 53 3b. 3 starts is nothing in this article shall prevent the parliament from conferring by law functions on the authorities other than the president. So my humble submission is the Dental Council of India is constituted under the Dental Act 1948. It is an authority statutory body jurisdictional concern at the max, and the functions can be entrusted by the parliament to them. Even so, it is not the functions which has been carried out under the 243W of the Constitution of India. It is a statutory body under 53B. The Dental Council of India is running. So the exemption entry number 4 is not applicable in the present case. Another argument will be leveled by my co-counsel.
Your time is over. Please sum up in less than 30 seconds. Your time is indeed over.
My advocate said the notification number 12, serial number 66 as applicable. My humble submission is notification number 12, 66 page 5 of the submission. The notification is clearly said services provided by an education institute to its student and faculty. The Dental Council of India is collecting fees from dental colleges, not from direct students. So is a taxable activity, and we also can invite your attention to page number 19 over the paper book.
Of the synopsis. Yeah.
Over 19. It's clearly said 30th July 2020. The letter clearly said towards the inspection fees at the rate of 1.5 lakhs plus GST applicable. In his own letter, he has confirmed the GST is applicable still in 2020, and the DGGI inspection in the 2021. So, he did not take any GST registration and not paid the GST. He is collecting the GST from colleges and not paid to the government. So, Section 74 is invocable because of suppression of facts is there. And we also attach the judgment of the Sri Ramu College of Arts and Science, which is the Assistant Commissioner of Pondicherry Division 3, at the page number 20. And it's clearly page number 21, kindly attention, page number 21, entry 65. It's clearly stated. This entry number 66 of the notification number 12 2020 do not apply to the services provided to colleges, even if such affiliation services were to fall under the category of services relating to admission or to conduct examination. The notification number 12 and entry number 66 is clearly said with the examination fee and entrance fee by collecting from directly to the student is only exempted. And the Dental Council of India are collecting fees from dental colleges. So it's a taxable.
Thank you, Mr. D.R. Thank you.
You have anything but under? Very short. Do not repeat. Let's contact those parties if you want.
Sir, another technical point that I would like to mention is, sir,
Any pura technical point will what time?
no sir, just a brief, just a point.
30 seconds.
Sir, a single SCN has been issued for multiple financial years, that is from 2017-2023, and also pre-consultation, pre-SCN consultation was not given, which is mandatory in case for demand exceeding 50 lakhs.
74 they have given, no? So with suppression they have given. With suppression the pre-consultation is not there. Yeah, please go.
I'm asking to both of you, you can leverage me. Order of the first appellate authority talks about only and only disallowances on the basis of that we are not covered under the criteria of the exemption or being related to functions are to be done. So whether these points have not been raised before the first appellate authority?
Sir, entry number 39.
This is what written in the order.
Sir, it relates to service tax.
of the old
notice.
service tax regime.
Service tax regime.
No, I agree, but he is talking only about one ground. There are two notifications. One is 243W that you are talking, that is serial number 39, agree. But the second ground that you are saying, that they are trying to go on to 66, that is not mentioned in the appellate order. At least the relevant tax rate we are having, with there is no mention.
It has been contended at the first stage during the adjudication.
Okay.
So they were contended before the authority.
Yes.
Even the first appellate authority, you contended all these aspects.
Yes, sir.
What you are saying is saying bunching, pre-consultation and the notification. All things were contested.
Tell us very clearly, which notification number are you claiming? Are you claiming number 39? 66. There are two things what you are claiming. One is serial number 4 and 5, wherein you are saying that this is a service given by the governmental authority and you are claiming yourself to be governmental authority. So are you claiming benefit under serial number 4 and 5, or are you claiming benefit under serial number 66, where it says service is provided by an educational institution to a student? Which one are you preferring to claim?
Entry number 4 and 5.
Yeah, after hearing both the parties and considering the ground submitted, on merits of the case, we have a different view, but I'll come to the later portion. On merits of the case, if you see, we are sticking to the very simple point that on inspection and affiliation charges, whether GST chargeable or not. Recently also there has been a board circular, that is 11th October 2024, where board has said that GST chargeable. But the appellate tribunal beg to differ from that, especially Para 2 of that, because we are not bound by the board circular tribunal. The officers are bound by the board circulars. So on merits of the case, if you see, there are two judgments which are saying that on these affiliation charges, yes, GST chargeable. You may be aware of this. This Telangana High Court two judgments are there. I have a copy, we can always share later in our order. There are two, more than 2 or 3 judgments which are saying, for example, Madras High Court judgment, Delhi High Court judgment, Gujarat High Court judgment, which are all saying that the kind of affiliation charges are there shall not be charged to the GST. So this merits of the case, both sides there are sufficient grounds. But the point that which we would like to mention now in this order is, when you are raised certain multiple grounds, whether about show cause notice issue, or whether about serial number 4 and 5 or 69, the appellant order, even though we don't have full order copy right now in this court, but the relevant action that quoted is talking about one ground. So considering that, we want the appellate authority we want to remand this case back to the appellate authority to consider all the grounds that have been mentioned by the appellant, and also we give specific directions to quote the appellate authority's opinion with respect to the two Telangana judgments, two Telangana High Court judgment, and Madras High Court and Delhi High Court and Gujarat High Court. Regarding Gujarat, because that is applicable to us, the judgment which says that it is not applicable. With those directions, the tribunal would like to remand the case back to the appellate authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. While the results are being compiled, I request all the 4
performance of the contestants both in bench 1 and bench 2. Overall, I am talking. First thing is best, very good performance done by the appellant. It's a great appreciation. I have seen tribunal for the last 1.5 years. In fact, some of the councils are not even prepared as much as these people, these boys and girls are prepared. I think one should be. But the learning is always, by practice. It doesn't come the court craft, what people call. That was probably, there was an element of court craft that is missing. That is, like you are, when the appellant especially submits his case first, you should now focus upon the grounds of appeal to the court point. Do not go here and there. And in the grounds of appeal, in the appeal memorandum, you may write A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. But when you are submitting it here, that too when you mark out when time limitation is there, my advice is that pick up the strongest grounds of your appeal and just press upon them. Many times council do this. In the appeal memorandum they say it is not speaking order, not application of mine, but when they speak argue the case, they stick to only the strongest one. So my advice is that the appellants especially should stick to that. My advice to the respondents is that probably they have come prepared, but they are not on the points that are being raised by the appellant. One should counter. See, brief facts of the case you don't have to repeat unless otherwise there is some fact that was suppressed from the court. You directly attack what is the revenue submissions. Like I argue in before stat. So if you see my synopsis 6-7 pages, it consists of 4 parts. Part 1, brief facts of the case, just 1 para. In fact, part 1 contains chronology, sometimes which many people are not. My way, both of the appellant as well as this contain chronology, part A. In that brief facts of the case, as a respondent, very less. As an appellant, yes, he will contain good brief facts of the case. Part B is revenue submissions. Focus maximum upon them. In revenue submissions, you talk about your case, your arguments against the appellant. Punch them to the extent possible. Revenue counsels I am telling, and also support to the extent possible what has been rightly said in Ardent Vajana by reading the relevant paras in Ardent Vajana. Part C is the case laws that you rely upon. You have to rely upon certain case law, because certain case laws adjudicating authority at that time might not have been there, would not have been. Part D is the rebuttal that you have to do. This is very, very important. On the grounds of appeal, each grounds of appeal you have to rebut them. This is what is advised for the respondents. I would like my brother. Few points.
Thank you very much, sir. In addition to what Bhawan suggested, I will have 2-3 points to make. Number 1, whenever you are arguing, please mind, remain very, very thorough with your facts. You don't know when the question will come from where. Many time members are there in the bench who has already gone through the whole of the cases. So you must be very thorough with your facts. Number 1. Number 2 would be for both the sides. What I have observed is many times when the sections are quoted, sections are very limited extracts of the sections are quoted, but it would be advisable that whole of the section should be quoted. Number 1. Number 2. Even if then the section is quoted or you are reading the notification in front of the court or the tribunal, please don't skip whole of the text. You are reading, let's say notification is there just before the case. One of the counsel was reading only relevant words from the notification. Whereas to appreciate to the court, it has to be read in full. You cannot skip anything. A third thing, when Mr. Rahman was asking a question to one of the counsel, he was a bit skeptical, like he was having a fear of losing the case. Please mind, whenever the court is asking you a tough question, don't be afraid. Court wants to understand it from you that what is actually the matter, what is the actually legal position. So don't fear from the hard questions from the court. And lastly, I would say, please be careful and give full attention to the points raised during the hearing by opposite counsel. Let's say appellant has pressed on 3 points. If the respondents are replying only and only 2, that means it goes in the mind of the court that he is agreeing with the third one. So whether you are appellant side, respondent side, have a careful hearing of the other side, respond or counter to the other's argument. Once again I am saying, don't fear from the other's argument. You have to put your best effort in the interest of your client, whichever side you are. Rest, I think presentation from both the sides was great, and it was a great opportunity for everyone to hear.
Thank you, Justice Agrasen. Now I request Justice Sushil Goyal for his observations. Please come and give your observations.